Season 8, much like any other season, saw some different changes take place to some specific heroes. A few got buffed, a few got nerfed, you know, the usual. Amongst the heroes to get buffed was Ramattra. Blizzard want to make him depend less on nemesis mode to get kills and be strong, so they buffed his staff a little bit, giving it an increase in both damage and projectile size. Instead of staff doing 4.5 damage per shot, it now does 5, and the projectile size has been up to 0.075 meters to 0.1 meters. They also changed the way his health works now, giving him 100 armor as health, meaning his health pool in total is 450, but he can tank 100 damage and the other 350 health is just normal. So, are these changes any good, or are they unnecessary? I'll get into that in a second, but first I'm going to ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video, as I want to continue making Overwatch 2 related content that's not only entertaining, but educational too. I'm going to talk about his staff damage first, because I feel like even though it's only a slight boost, you can definitely notice that it's stronger. I mean, I'm by no means a good tank player, I'll be the first to admit that, but if you take into consideration that his stuff is like Lifeweaver's Thorn Volley and doesn't have any real damage fall off, it's very good, especially if you're attacking at a range and getting a lot of crits. I think Ramattra is probably the tank with the best range because of this. Yes, Nemesis mode is much better because of how much damage punching does and how much pressure you apply to the enemies by being in their face, but being able to play at a range and take a more pokey playstyle like Sigma when necessary is great. The only downside is that he doesn't really counter any tanks in particular. In this game against Mauga, I was only able to win fights against him because I had the rest of my team helping me. In terms of a 1v1, I think the results would have been much different. So in short, yes, it's better in situations where you can play at range against the squishier enemies like Ana in the backline, because it means you don't have to dive her like you would on heroes like Winston and Doomfist. Now, moving on to the health change, it's pretty noticeable how much better it is, even though it was just changing 100 health to armor. If you didn't know, if a hero has armor as part of their health bar, it blocks a bit of damage, meaning for example if a tracer bursts you down with an entire clip, you'll only take about 3/4 of the damage. This might be exaggerated, I'm not too sure on the exact number, so if you know, leave a comment correcting me. This means that Ramattra's total health has indirectly increased if you think about it. Whilst yes, he has 450 health, he can take more than 450 damage before dying. This makes him feel a lot better to play when he's not in Nemesis form. Even though you have a deployable shield like Sigma does, enemies can just walk straight through it and attack you. So having this armor as part of his health bar acts almost like a second form of damage mitigation. This change is actually much more of a bigger deal than it seems. It allows Ramattra to get into more fights and make riskier plays when he isn't in Nemesis mode. So in conclusion, is this buff any good? Well, it depends. When you're playing at a range against specific heroes, yes, it feels great because you're getting kills easier and you're staying alive for a lot longer. But if you're getting pushed and forced to play close quarters combat, it feels the exact same. And considering that most of the other tanks, excluding Mauga, have barely any range, you're gonna be getting pushed a lot. Against ranged squishies like Ana and Ashe, he feels great, whereas against heroes like Roadhog, it can be difficult to get value out of him whilst not in Nemesis mode. If I had to give this a rating though, I'd say it's a solid 8 out of 10.
Nice job, team.
They did exactly what they wanted to do, which was make him feel stronger when in normal form, and he definitely does feel stronger in normal form now that these changes have been made. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Once again, I'm going to ask you to like this video as it lets me know that you find these videos not only to be helpful, but entertaining. Let me know what you think about these changes if you've played around with them in the comments below. I'd like to see how you guys think he feels. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night, and make sure to check out my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.